Hey guys, so here is part 3 of your 9 weeks review. All right, so we're at number 46. So David bought a boat for $5,000, but the value of his boat is expected to decrease 15% each year. Write a function to determine the value of the boat. So decreasing 15% each year. So this is going to be f of x equals a times 1 minus r since it's decreasing to the x power. That would be 1 minus 0.15. So you end up getting f of x equals 5,000 is what he started with, times 0.85 to the x power. Okay, so then you guys are going to fill in the table over here. Okay, so if you haven't filled it in, so you're just plugging in values every time. So pause the video and fill these in. Don't just copy them, try to plug it in and make sure you can. I'm going to start now. So pause the video and go ahead and fill in. Okay, so those are the values that you should have gotten. And then we're going to plot the points. So 0, 5,000, 1, 42.50. Oh, wrong place. 2, 36.12. That's going to just be a little bit above 3,500. 3, 3,070. 4, 26.10. 5, 22.18. 6, 18.85. Okay, so this is going to kind of start to curve this way. All right, so do we connect the dots? Why or why not? And the answer would be yes, because the value is decreasing constantly. Okay, so it decreases continuously. Okay, so the domain is x values, remember, from left to right. So we're starting at 0, and it's going to just keep decreasing. So 0 is less than or equal to x is less than infinity, because it's never really going to stop decreasing in value. What is the range? The range is from bottom to top. Okay, so we're looking at 0 is less than y is less than or equal to 5,000, because it can't go higher than 5,000 if that's what you started with. So determine x when f of x is $2,218.53. So we go back and look, and we should have gotten, that's at 5, right? Right here. Okay, so that's f of 5. So f of 5 equals $2,218.53. So that means after 5 years, the boat is worth $2,218.53. Okay, so evaluate f of 3. We've already done that. You've got the table. F of 3 is $3,070.63. And that means the boat is worth $3,070.63 after 3 years. So after 4 years, David decides to sell his boat and buy a newer model. He wants to get as much money as he can off of selling the older boat. Should he sell the boat for $1,800? Okay, so f of 4 says that the boat is worth $2,610 So should he sell it for $1,800? No, it's worth more than that. So it's worth more than $1,800. So he should sell it for more. Okay. All right, so now number 47 through 52. So these are solving exponential equations. Okay. So remember, the whole thing here when doing this is you want to get the bases the same. Okay. You get the bases the same. Once they're the same, you drop the bases, you set the exponents equal to each other, and you solve. Okay. So number 47, 7 and 7 can drop. I get x minus 3 equals 2x plus 1, and then I solve that equation, and I can get x. Okay. All right, so 48 and 49, do you notice that they have, each of these have fractions in them? Okay, so if you remember my exponent rule, if I had 1 over x to the n, I could rewrite that as x to the negative n power. So whenever we see these fractions, we want to remember that my exponents are likely going to be negative. So 1 over 216, so can I rewrite 216 as 6 to some power? We want to rewrite in terms of the smaller base. Okay, hopefully you're thinking 6 to the third. So 1 over 216 is the same thing as 1 over 6 to the third. The right side doesn't need to change. I rewrite 1 over 6 to the third based on this rule up here as 6 to the negative 3 power equals 6 to the negative x plus 1. Well, now I've got it. It looks like 47. I drop the bases, and I set the exponents equal, and then you're going to use inverse operations to solve for x. 47 and 48, hopefully you can keep doing on your own. The answer for 47 is negative 4. The answer for 48 is 4. Okay, so 49. I have 2 to the 2x plus 3, and I've got this 1 over 2. They both have 2's, but the problem here is this fraction. So would you agree that I could rewrite this 1 over 2 as 2 to the negative first power to the 5x power? So hopefully you guys also remember, if you had x to the n to the m power, when you have a power raised to a power, you remember what you do to the exponents? You multiply them. So hopefully you guys remember that this would be the same thing as 2 to the x plus 3 equals 2 to the negative 5x. My bases are the same. I could drop them. X plus 3 equals negative 5x. You keep doing your inverse operations, and you should end up, I'm not going to do it, you should end up getting negative 3 over 7 for your final answer for those. Okay, so I didn't do all of the work, but you guys should hopefully be able to do the work and get to that answer. 48. I've got a base of 32 and a base of 16. Okay, well, 16 squared. I can't rewrite 32 as 16 to some power because that's 16 squared is not 32. 16 times 2 is 32, but 16 squared is not. So I'm thinking maybe 2. Okay, could I rewrite 32 as 2 to the 5th power to the 2x minus 2? And then I could rewrite 16 as 2 to the 4th to the negative 3x plus 1 power. I put my exponents that were originally there in parentheses because what you guys need to make sure you remember to do is you have to distribute these exponents. Okay, so I could go ahead and drop the bases. They're the same. I'm going to distribute. I get 10. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. That's a 4. It doesn't look like it, but 4 to the negative 3x is negative 12x. 4 times 1 is 4. Okay, so then I would add 12x to both sides. 22x minus 10 equals 4. Add 10, and I get 22x equals 14. Okay, then we would divide by 22, and you guys should get x equals 7 over 11 there. Okay, so 51 and 52, I'll just help you guys with what you should change them to. So hopefully you guys did 1 over 27 is 1 over 3 to the third, and then change your 9 to 3 squared to the 7x minus 5 power. That would be 3 to the negative third equals, you distribute the exponent, 3 to the 14x minus 10. Okay, bases are the same. You would drop them. Negative 3 equals 14x minus 10. And as you kept going, what you guys should have ended up getting here is x equals 1/2. I'm not going to go all the way. Okay. This next one, you've 125 and 25. So 1 over 125 is 1 over 5 to the third, which is 5 to the negative third. When I see a fraction, I know negative exponent. 5 to the negative third to the x minus 2 power equals 5 squared to the x plus 3. Okay, I can drop the bases and remember to distribute those exponents. Negative 3x plus 6 equals 2x plus 6. Okay, and as you guys keep going, you should get x equals 0 there. Okay, so remember, you can pause this, go back at any point that you need to. All right, so lastly, for this part 3 is just some of this geometric sequence stuff. You guys just tested over this, so hopefully you're doing okay. So 53, remember, a geometric sequence has a common ratio. You're multiplying by something to get there. So from 2 to -4, -4 to 8, hopefully y'all are just saying, hey, I know. We're multiplying by -2 every time, right? So what I'm going to do, I know here my r is -2. I could keep going. 8 times -2, -16. -16 times -2, positive 32. Times -2, -64. And we're going to write into the recursive formula. Okay, so recursive A1 equals blank. What's my first term? 2. Okay, AN is A sub n minus 1 times whatever r was, and in this case, -2. Explicit formula, AN equals A sub 1, which was 2, times -2 to the n minus 1. Okay, so 54, hopefully you guys realize it's decreasing, right? So we're probably dividing by something. If you figure out what you're dividing by, if you find the number, then when you divide by number, it's like multiplying by 1 over that number. So for 54, hopefully you guys are noticing, I think a 4. So if you divide by 4, it's the same thing as multiplying by 1/4. I'm sorry. And remember, we write everything in terms of fractions, or not fractions, but multiplying. Okay, so you don't want to put a 4 for your r because that implies that you're multiplying by 4. But what you're really doing is dividing by 4, which is multiplying by 1 over 4. So if you kept going, you would get 4, 1, and 1/4. A1 equals 256. AN is A sub n minus 1 times 1 over 4. And the explicit formula is A sub n equals 256 times 1 over 4 to the n minus 1 power. Okay. So the last two. So number 55, it's getting smaller. What are we doing? So 55, do you guys see this is divide by 3? So divide by 3 is like multiply by 1 over 3. So my r is 1/3 here. Okay, my first term is 243. So then I write my explicit formula. So 243 times 1/3 to the n minus 1 power. Okay, it's asking you for the 6th term. So A6 is 243 times 1/3 to the 6 minus 1. Well, in your calculator, you probably need to be careful and make sure you use parentheses here. 6 minus 1 is 5. So in your calculator, the way that it needs to look is 243, parenthesis, 1 divided by 3. Don't use the fraction button. 1, the division symbol, 1 divided by 3, caret 5. If you do 6 minus 1 is the exponent, you have to make sure you put it in parentheses in your calculator. Okay, and hopefully you guys got a 1. All right, so number 56, I see -5, 15, -45, 135. Hopefully you guys know by now that if your sequence is alternating signs, it means that you're multiplying by a negative number. Okay, so have you figured out what it is, 5 to 15? So -3, I would check it. So r is -3. My first term is -5. So I've got -5 times -3 to the n minus 1. Okay, so A6 is -5 times -3 to the 6 minus 1. That's -5 to the times -3 to the 5th. Okay, so in your calculator, -5, parentheses, -3, caret 5. Again, if you do 6 minus 1 in the exponent, it has to go in parentheses or it's not going to be correct. Hopefully you got 1,215. Okay, so that is it for part 3. Oh, just kidding. There's 57. I'm sorry. Larry is selling a new book. Sales were slow. He sold 4 copies, and then it's doubled. His goal is to sell 5,000 copies in a single day, but he only has his booth for 10 days. So write the first 4. So he sells 4, and then they double. So we're looking at 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Okay, so can we write the explicit formula? So AN equals 4, the first term, times 2 to the n minus 1. Okay. So then it says find the 7th term. So A7 is 4 times 2 to the 7 minus 1, which is 4 times 2 to the 6th power. Okay, so plug that in. All right, so hopefully you got for this one, your 7th term, 256 books. Okay, so he wants to sell 5,000 books in a single day. Will he be able to reach his goal by the 10th day? So let's see. So A sub 10 is 4 times 2 to the 10 minus 1. That is 4 times 2 to the 9th power, so plug that in. Okay, so on the 10th day, how many books did he sell? 2,048 books. So did he reach his goal? No, he didn't. So now that I think, let's see, is the end of part 3. So make sure you guys study for your test. So good luck.